Hey y'all, it's your favorite Armadillo Lord here, and after my time, effort, and planning, it's now time to finally explore the Pokémon Mansion and see what boss Pokémon lies at the bottom of this dungeon. Where I last left things off, I was training up Raichu and Spiritomb, so we started it with Raichu as he's vital to getting off of paralysis for this upcoming boss fight. Since the wild Pokémon overleveled when compared to Raichu, I'm having to switch into my more powerful Pokémon in order to get Raichu up to par with the wild Pokémon. After many switching battles, Raichu is finally able to battle and gain experience all by itself. During my training, I encountered my second shiny on this world, a shiny Krabby, and had to catch it. Thankfully, the Krabby wasn't too hard to catch, unless as my knocked out Absol, and now it's back to training with Raichu. After some time and sweat, Raichu is at the level I wanted him to be, and now he's done with his training for the time being. Since I was in that neck of the woods, I decided to cut down the trees to harvest the apricorns with them, as I can never be too prepared or have too many Pokeballs. Once that harvest session was done, I flew back to the farm for some rest and to see what my producers have for me. And said producers don't disappoint me, as Water-type Pokemon have some shells for me, while the Electric-type Pokemon have produced magnets for me to create more regular Pokeballs. And finally, I get another round of Moo Milk for my inventory, as I'll need as many healing items as I can, as the boss of the mansion will be very difficult to catch. During this gathering, I began having second thoughts about my team, and decided to swap out my Spiritomb for my Luxio to have a backup Pokemon that can paralyze the boss in case Raichu fails. Afterwards, I got my team to relax by the campfire while I worked hard on crafting more Pokeballs for our upcoming expedition. Once the relaxation of crafting was over, I gave Luxio the same training that I gave Raichu, switching him out for my stronger Pokemon, gaining him experience till he can fight on his own. Eventually, all that switching experience caused him to evolve into Luxray, and a step closer to being ready for the expedition. Eventually, Luxray reached the level where he no longer needed the assistance of my other strong Pokemon. Finally, after a good amount of training, my final team member is at a good enough level to where training is finally done and the team is fully ready. I then gave myself and my team some time to rest the night before we fly over to the mansion. Once day broke, we flew to the mansion and finally locked the doors and began our expedition of this dungeon, only to quickly deal with a poison type Pokemon, but not quick enough to avoid it inflicting a poison status condition on me and causing me to have a weakened member on my team, as well as the mistake of not making any repels, so I have to deal with a lot more wild encounters than I anticipated when compared to my time in the ruin. Because of these events, I had to temporarily exit the mansion to try to find a cure for the poison that's ailing my Pokemon. However, I'm unable to find any Pecha berries or any other cure, so I decided to take the easier way out by having my poison Pokemon faint so it can be cured of his status condition. During this process of failing to find a cure, I decided to make a quick pen for the boss Pokemon and set a point where it will arrive by resting my team up in this pen. Once that was done, I head back into the mansion with a newly invigorated team. This time I'm more cautious as I go deeper into the mansion, as I don't want to undo all my progress of exploring the mansion. Eventually my more cautious approach pays off as my team is safe and I reach the final floor that holds the boss of this dungeon, Mewtwo. Before I'm able to battle with Mewtwo, he gives me a speech on how he despises humanity for what they did to him and believes I'm here to control him, which he's not entirely wrong, so now he wishes to destroy me, thus putting me into a battle with an intelligent Pokemon that's very pissed off. So now it's time to put my plan into action, as I have Raichu trying to paralyze Mewtwo in order to make him slightly more catchable. During my attempt to paralyze Mewtwo, I soon learned that he can occasionally attack a second time with a powerful psychic attack when we're done with our turns. Unfortunately, Raichu is eventually overwhelmed and I lose one of my Pokemon that can paralyze Mewtwo, so I bring in Metagross to try to slow him down for Luxray and the rest of my team. Now here's the major con of this game of not having any power points. It allows Pokemon with healing moves to spam them infinitely, which Mewtwo does with Recover. After my Metagross dropped Mewtwo's stats, I switched into Absol as it's more of a safe Pokemon to switch into, and didn't want to risk Mewtwo OHKOing my Luxray and seeing if I could get a lucky catch. Thankfully, the occasional second attack that Mewtwo can use is coded as an actual Psychic type attack, and due to Absol being a Dark type, he's immune from the second attack. However, even with that, Absol still goes down and I have Dragonite to try to tough it out while I try to catch Mewtwo, as Luxray would be no good against this. However, despite his best efforts, Dragonite goes down and now it's time for Luxray to try to paralyze it where Raichu failed. And unfortunately, Luxray has no luck in paralyzing Mewtwo, as I'm failing to catch the Pokemon while it eventually takes out Luxray and feeling hopeless in this endeavor. With Metagross and Mewtwo in a constant loop of damaging and healing, I decided to restart the battle in hopes of that my second attempt will result in a paralyzed Mewtwo. Thankfully, the start of the second attempt is much more successful, as Raichu does his job and paralyzes Mewtwo, giving me a better chance of catching a legendary Pokemon. With that status condition, I now have a much better time of trying to catch Mewtwo, with a greater catch rate and the occasional turn that he'll be fully paralyzed, unable to use his normal attack, but he can still do his second psychic attack despite the status condition. Even with the status condition, I'm still in a healing and damage loop with Mewtwo, but it's more manageable due to him occasionally losing out on a turn due to his condition. And after all I went through from status conditions and loops, I'm finally able to catch Mewtwo in a heavy ball, ending my expedition in a major success. Exiting the mansion with an aid of an escape rope, I claim my new Mewtwo and take him back home, as I look forward to a well-deserved rest. Now safe at home, I take that well-earned rest near the campfire, as Mewtwo and my other other team members heal up after that hard-fought battle. And with that, this is seemingly the conclusion of my time in the Pokemon Wilds for now. It's hard to find other stuff to do now that I have Mewtwo alongside my previous expeditions and discoveries, but who knows. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like this video, subscribe for more modern and other Pokemon content like this, and hopefully I'll see you on the next video.